What's up, guys? How are you? Let's go on a Monday. It is time for a new episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Peralta. We are live on YouTube at Boston versus the Book. That is the same handle on X, Twitter, replayed on Sports Grid TV, 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern Time, your audio podcast wherever you get your audio podcasts. And welcome to holiday week. We only have 3 shows this week. We are off Thursday. We are off Friday. So we have a lot to get into. We have a lot to kind of slam together here over 3 days, recapping the weekend, talking about tonight's Monday Night Football game between the 49ers and the Colts. We have the college football playoffs to look forward to this coming, well, I guess next week. Recap the playoffs from this past weekend. We've got altercations and issues and off-the-field conversations to be had coming up here for the show today. But just in case you have not entered yet, on Wednesday, we will make the announcement as to who will be the recipient, the winner of our first ever giveaway for a BVB hat and a BVB t-shirt. You must be subscribed to the YouTube channel and be a Discord channel member. That's it. You take a screenshot of each to prove it. Your subscription to the YouTube channel and your Discord profile. You're going to email it to askthebvb@gmail.com, and I will most likely do it with a randomizer. I might do it on the air. I haven't figured that out yet. We might do it on the air and just do a really fun randomizer so you guys can see who ends up winning this thing and just going to like put it in a whole bit like spinorama thing. So stay tuned for that on Wednesday's program. We'll do that. We'll pull the winner and we'll make the announcement as to who is going to be the recipient of the BVB hat and t-shirt. And as you guys have probably checked out by now, you can go and check out the BVB store. Just go to our website, thebvbshow.com, if you've not checked it out. It's cool to kind of bounce around in there, just kind of see what's available. Thebvbshow.com. Right in the front, hit that official BVB merchandise. You can go and check out hats, t-shirts, hoodies, all sorts of cool stuff that are currently available. And we'll do some other fun stuff coming up later on in the 2026 year. I cannot believe that it's the 22nd of December. Holy wow. We are into a brand new year almost. Are you guys like me? Do you like the whole recap and, looking back on everything type of stuff? I do. We'll do it on Wednesday. We'll have a whole recap. I mean, there are positives and then there are real big negatives about doing that, right? In 2025, at least for this show. And I mean, it's been since the end of June. So the first 6 months of the year, and then dealing with everything that happened when Dave got sick, and then dealing with the outcome of what happened with Dave getting sick. And now here we are in December at the holiday where you want to decompress a little bit and you want to just kind of reflect. I am a big planner. I am a big forward thinker. And I've told you guys before, I'm efforting behind the scenes of trying to set some cool things up for 2026. I do feel like it is going to be a year of growth for the brand. I think we're going to add some things. I want to make this YouTube channel to be bigger than just me and bigger than just this show. I want this to be something that we have more to offer than just 2 hours, an hour and a half a day. Okay. And I want to start more shows. I want to host more shows. I want to be more heavily interactive and involved. I've tried to be on the Discord channel more. I've tried to be more active on Twitter on our BVB X account. I've tried to grow organically, right? But now we need to put some fuel behind it and really start to do some stuff in 2026. So always forward, never straight, right? So we're going forward. But for at least a little bit for this week, I think it's not awful just to take a look back. We'll do that on Wednesday's program. For today, what a weekend. I mean, my goodness, there is so much to talk about. Opening line on my 5 biggest moments from the weekend. I could have done 15 of these and we'll have a ton kind of spilling over into the week, into the show from what the weekend was. And we'll just begin with number 5 for my biggest moments of the weekend. In Alabama, and Miami both backing up their inclusion and kind of shutting down any conversation that the Irish fans were getting ready to have. Like, you knew that Notre Dame and their fans, after what they said publicly, ripping the ACC, like they were all ready to go to hammer Miami. If they had lost to Texas A&M, that you would have seen the interviews and the social media clips and all the things the Irish were getting ready to do to say, well, we would have done better than Miami. And you did see that during the game, that Notre Dame would have scored more than what Miami did with their 10 points. I saw that. It would have been even worse if Miami had lost. Alabama going on the road to Oklahoma and playing as well as they did at on the road in Norman at Memorial Stadium was really impressive. Like, I didn't see that coming. I was wrong on both those games. I bet A&M and I bet on Oklahoma. Both home teams lost. That was the first time that home teams had lost in the college football playoff era. We had seen the home teams dominate. That did not happen for the first two games. And then Oregon got going, and then we saw, clearly, the late games, blowout games. Tulane at Ole Miss got annihilated. Ole Miss wins. JMU, they covered one of the worst beats you'll ever see. It's why I didn't lay the 21. I took the team total for Oregon. I wanted no part of the side in that game. And JMU covers 51-34 the final. And I guess you could say there's a moral victory in that for James Madison, but both Tulane and JMU really ending the conversation for me about the college football playoff committee and the need to include group of 5 teams. Like, there is no need to include a group of 5 team. Okay. There may be a once in a while fluke team, but in today's NIL and transfer portal world, look at college basketball. Look what's going on. There is, we didn't have a funeral for it, but we probably should have had a funeral for the Cinderella story in college basketball. It's gone. Like, we're not going to see that ever again. If you're a kid who can play and you're at a CAA school or you're at a Mountain West Conference school, if you're a really talented kid, you're not going to stay more than 1 year at your current university. You're going to go play. You're going to go up and make a ton of money and probably play 5-6 years, right? Try to find a way to stick around and apply for waivers. And that's just where college football and college basketball are going to be. They have built the system to fit perfectly. What they've always dreamt of is that they do not want the little guy around. They want big brands. Look at the comments from Joel Klatt, who has walked that back like he's walking his dog after what happened publicly for his comments about the NCAA tournament. Not sure if Fox told him to do it or he did it himself, but Joel Klatt has been apologizing, and I've been on an apology tour for the last week after what he said on that show in Alabama about the NCAA tournament. And yet he's using the Tulane and JMU losses as justification for his comments, saying that nobody wants Cinderellas. I think there's a big difference between nobody wanting a Cinderella and somebody wanting to see a team go and do something they've never done before. Because to me, last year, Indiana would factor into being a Cinderella story. Okay. If Purdue football goes on a run, that would be a Cinderella story. If we see programs that aren't historically blue bloods, right? If we're not watching Alabama, LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame every year in the college football playoff, and there's somebody new that's in there, that can count as a Cinderella, right? It's not about the fact that they're from the Big 10 or the Big 12 or the ACC. It's what's their history. Have they been doormats their entire existence? Vanderbilt, if they had gotten into the playoffs, that would have been a Cinderella story, right? So people like Cinderellas. It's just that they want to see teams that have the talent that can match up. And JMU and Tulane did not have the talent to match up. And there are some high-level 5-star, 4-star caliber players that transferred to both JMU and Tulane. But it's a team sport. It's not about individuals. So you can have a couple of good wide receivers, a good quarterback. But if your defense can't tackle anybody, if your defense can't stop both Oregon and Ole Miss, you're never going to win the game. And thus what happened? Both teams got blown out. Now, the quarterback play in Miami and Texas A&M infuriated me because I had a future ticket on A&M, and Carson Beck won a game in which he went 14 for 20 for 103 yards. 103 yards, won a game on the road. Now, that's the Miami defense and the Miami running game, right? It's a team sport. But Carson Beck wins a game that he had no business winning, and Miami won a road game or a neutral site game against a top 10 opponent for the first time since 2005. And Marcel Reed throwing two extremely damaging wide interceptions, including the game-tying drive on third down from inside the 10. They had two cracks at it with 30 seconds to go. He had no business throwing that football where he did, in danger, when he could have run the ball and he could have run in for the game-tying score, or at least try to get the ball down to the 1 yard line and run two plays. I thought it was poor coaching by Mike Elko, and I thought it was a complete disservice to the defense and what A&M's defense did in that game. They were awesome. A&M's defense, that's a national championship caliber defense. The problem is their offense and their quarterback, not even close. Really, it's the quarterback. And I don't mean to put it all on Marcel Reed, but you can put that loss on Marcel Reed. That offense couldn't do anything. And the pass rush and the offensive line wasn't great. I mean, Miami got after it and did a great job of getting upfield and creating problems. But that offense for the last month of the season, that's why. I mean, if you want to know where A&M will spend their money next year, A&M is going to rebuild that offense because their defense is ferocious. And that's why I bet them at 19-1 to win the national championship, because I thought they'd get past Miami with their defense. And then I thought they would have a chance against Ohio State. I think Miami's going to get boat raced by Ohio State. I really do. I think Carson Beck's a big problem. And I don't think you can't play that way. If you're Miami, you're not going to run the ball like that against Ohio State. You're just not. You want to play smash mouth football against a Big Ten team? Good luck. Okay, that's not going to work. You've got to be able to move. Carson Beck is not mobile. He's got good skill players, okay? And I think Miami will score more than 10 points against Ohio State. But Carson Beck's not going to be able to throw for 103 yards against the Buckeyes and win. That's not going to get it done. So, to me, I thought A&M would have a shot. I thought A&M, if Marcel Reed could play at a high level, I thought they could have a shot, and no shot. Big time bummer. Number 4, Jake Paul gets sent to the moon by Anthony Joshua. There are a lot of really interesting things coming out of this fight. One, this is amazing because this is what I said during the fight. It's exactly what it looked like. If you know, you know. On the left is the actual fight. On the right is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. If you played Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, probably you were my age. You remember the original Nintendo and Super Nintendo, and you probably spent hours upon hours playing video games that, yes, kids, our video games looked like that 16-bit ridiculousness. And the noise, I know if you're a guy in my age bracket, you know the noise you are hearing in your head right now when the punches landed, right? The right? We all know what that is, okay? We all know what that is. I don't know what the clause said in the contract. All I know is the contract stated in some language that Anthony Joshua could not punch hard or the head of Jake Paul until after the third or the fourth round. It's amazing that the odds were set at 2.5 rounds, right? And that Anthony Joshua kept on saying, if I don't knock out Jake Paul in the first round, it's going to be a loss for me. They set the public up. That was as blatant as a setup as I can remember seeing, because the second we got to the fourth round, Anthony Joshua changed. Now Anthony Joshua went forward. Now Anthony Joshua was actually throwing combinations. He still wasn't doing what I thought a normal boxer would do. Like, I've watched numerous breakdowns from boxing people that I respect, and there is a ton of clear evidence of Anthony Joshua pulling his punches, just like Anderson Silva, just like Mike Tyson. Like, you go through the whole litany here of the charade that is Jake Paul. But Jake Paul finally ran into somebody who didn't give a flip about the money. He finally ran into somebody that was going to say, okay, for the sport of boxing, I'm going to do something that everybody has wanted to see have happen for a really long time. And the look that came from that realization, the look that was on Jake Paul's face when Anthony Joshua looked at him like this. When you see a guy, a mountain of a man, looking at you and he smiles before he punches you, the result is what happened to Jake Paul, that is a real picture. That is Jake Paul's face with a broken jaw in two places. He will lose teeth. He will need to have reconstructive surgery, and Jake Paul's boxing career is most likely over. He might want to get back into the ring, but he's not fighting again. He won't be cleared to fight for a year plus, because he got sent to the moon by Anthony Joshua, who, by internet rumor, and it's big internet rumor, I don't know, I'm efforting to find where his lawyers may have said this, but internet rumor is that Jake Paul's lawyers are extremely angry at Anthony Joshua because there was a no knockout clause in the contract. Again, rumor. But that wouldn't be surprising to me given what has happened in these Jake Paul fights, where he gets to essentially save face. He fought 2 professional fighters in his career. He's 0-2. He fought Tommy Fury. He lost. He fought Anthony Joshua. He lost. But Anthony Joshua was going to forfeit so much money to the governments of the United States and the United Kingdom that the numbers being talked about, the $90 million, the $140 million, whatever these guys are going to get paid for this fight each, that the taxes were going to take so much money out of this. Anthony Joshua has got 2 big money fights on the horizon, real fights on the horizon. I think he took this fight because I think he wanted to do something for boxing fans. I think he saw this as a really easy payday. He barely broke a sweat. But I also think he was in there to essentially end this charade, to do it for boxing and boxing purists and boxing fans for a long time, to essentially say, I have a chance to do this. And I'm going to do this whenever I want to do this. So I'm going to abide by the contract. I'm going to carry Jake Paul, who was falling down and stumbling and bumbling himself through the round, embarrassing himself through the entire fight. Jake Paul landed less than 10 punches per round in that fight. Less than 10 punches. I mean, Joshua could have done that in the first round if he wanted to. Second round, third round. He just chose to do it when he did it in the 6th round. He just said, okay, fine. Jake Paul's tired now. He was walking around the ring with his hands down the entire fight against Anthony Joshua, against a legitimate 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. You cannot walk around the ring with your hands down. You're going to be put to sleep. And technically, Anthony Joshua did not put Jake Paul to sleep. But everyone's been talking about the Jake Paul facial reaction after he got knocked out. And he was like, wow, he was because he wasn't expecting that. He knew he was not supposed to get hit like that. He got hit so hard that he went, oh my God, what did I do? And Joshua did not even knock him out, really. It was a TKO, not a knockout. He never lost consciousness. And I still think that Anthony Joshua could have hit him harder than he did. Joshua could have hit him and could have actually comboed that. That was a 1-punch walk-off for Anthony Joshua. He very easily could have come back with the left, and he could have ended and really hurt Jake Paul permanently if he wanted to. And when I heard Dana White say it about a month before the fight, when Tank Davis dropped out, and you saw Dana White say, I think a lot of people are going to get what they want with Jake Paul getting knocked out. That said to me, okay, the fix is not in on this fight. There's going to be some parameters put in place to protect Jake Paul, but the fix is not in the way that it was with Ben Askren, with Mike Tyson, with Anderson Silva, with Tyron Woodley, like all of the sham fights that Jake Paul has made millions off of. that he has finally stepped up to somebody who didn't need the money. He's an active professional fighter trying to regain his belts. Money is not the motivation for Anthony Joshua. He has plenty of it. And so he finally ran into a real boxer. Even Tommy Fury, who was a professional, wasn't a real boxer in a lot of ways, and he beat Jake Paul. But when you put yourself in that position and you're Jake Paul, you can walk around the ring with your hands down because you believe you have a security blanket. The security blanket is the money. You think you've got this guy where you've had all the others, where he's going to take the paycheck to leave you alone, and he's going to hit you with some stupid shots. Because if you go back and look at some of the body shots that Anthony Joshua, he was punching him right on the belt line, on the hip. If you've ever boxed, you know what that's like. That doesn't hurt at all. Like, that's the best place in the world to get punched. You're going to get punched in the body, get punched on the hip, because your hip bone, there's nothing there to hurt. You're hitting, like, you can't break your hip with a punch. No one's that strong. So you just go ahead and drop your elbow. You protect your ribs. You protect your kidneys. You turn, and if somebody hits you down on the belt line, you have a cup there that protects you, and you have your hip bone. It's not that painful. That's where Joshua was punching him. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, what are we doing? Because also, when he hit him, and you can go back and watch the whole fight, when he hit Jake Paul in the body, when he hit him low, Jake Paul's hands were already down. They came down even farther. If the fight was legitimate, that would have ended in the third or the fourth round, because it would have been a body shot and into the head, and it would have gone a typical combo. You know, body head or body head. Like, that's just typical boxing. Like, it's what you do, like, from day one. And that wasn't happening. Anthony Joshua, at the highest of highest levels, is not doing the most basic of combos that are available when Jake Paul stuck his chin out consistently the whole fight. So that's why the whole thing was a sham until this moment. I mean, look at Anthony Joshua's face. Look, he's smiling. Like, he legitimately is telling Jake Paul with his face, I'm about to send you to the hospital because you've barked up the wrong tree. You've done this too much. You got in the ring with the wrong guy. I don't care how much money I'm going to lose. This is going to be a moment. This is going to be my moment. I get to build my brand. I'm going to make so much more money than you could ever offer me, Jake Paul, by doing this. And that's it for Jake Paul. And that's it. Which, finally, like, we could all breathe a little bit and breathe a sigh of relief that whole sham operation is now done. Maybe not completely, but it's done for quite a while. Number 3, DK Metcalf. What's going through this guy's brain? What in the world? I don't know, and we haven't been told yet what exactly happened. But DK Metcalf, during the game against the Lions, punched a fan. He punched a fan. I don't care if it grazed him. I don't care if it didn't land. I don't care what the guy said. DK Metcalf walked over to a guy, put his hands on a fan, and then punched him. And yet he played in the second half of that game. How in the hell did the NFL referees miss this? How did they miss this? Because we replay everything. There's nobody that can signal down to DK Metcalf, to the Steelers, to the officials, to say, get him off the field, that he should not be playing. He just punched a fan. Eject him immediately. That was crazy. When I turned on the second half, after I saw that, I was like, he's not playing, right? Oh, he is playing. Okay. That's an interesting development. And now we're waiting for the NFL as to what exactly is going to be handed down to DK Metcalf. To me, he should not play football again in this season. Suspend him for the rest of the regular season, and he should be gone for the playoffs. He put his hands on the boss of the NFL. The fan is the boss of the NFL. You cannot have players going into the stands and putting their hands on fans. I don't care what he said. I really don't. Okay. The guy very much might have screwed around and changed the word and found out about what it means to talk trash to a wide receiver as the size of DK Metcalf. who was like the same size as Anthony Joshua, by the way. Like, you want to talk to a guy who has a screw loose? Okay, you get what you deserve. But that's the fan getting punched. That's the fan getting into the altercation. That guy should be ejected, and that guy should never be allowed back at a Lions game ever again. But that's a different story. It's a different conversation. There's two parts to this. What you do to the fan's in the wrong. I'm not defending anything that could have been said by the fan. The fan clearly said something extremely inappropriate and very much, insulting to DK Metcalf. He didn't just do that randomly. Somebody said something really awful to him, but this guy can't control himself. He clearly cannot control himself, that he's going to walk into the stands, pull a guy down, and then punch him. And NFL security is like, okay, yeah, it happened. One of the wildest things I've ever seen from the NFL. The same league that chucks players out for punching a guy with a helmet on. Someone gets ejected for throwing a punch, and the player who gets struck has a helmet on, which he didn't feel a damn thing when that punch lands. But the guy who punches a fan behind the bench, that guy gets to play. That guy's not suspended. That guy's not kicked out of the game. Like, you could say, well, the referees didn't see it. Like, hell, by the time we got to halftime, the whole world had seen it. Like, you can't retroactively eject somebody. Why not? Why can't I retroactively eject somebody for something that's not even, you can't say, well, we didn't see it, so it's speculation. No, it's not. We have actual video evidence of what DK Metcalf did behind the bench to a fan. He should not have played the second half. In the NFL allowing him to play the second half, there should be a massive investigation into that. Who the hell greenlit that? Because for sure somebody in New York got a phone call as soon as that happened and said, yeah, there's video of DK Metcalf punching a fan. Like, the referees should have gotten a phone call from the NFL. They should have walked into the halftime locker room and told the Steelers, hey, by the way, see you later. He's not playing the rest of the game. Goodbye. See you later. Eric, you can try to explain this all you want. He threw a punch. I don't care if it didn't land or not, okay? The dude put his hands on a fan. End of story. There is no debate. There is no conversation. There is nothing there, period. Look, this is a still frame, but he grabbed the guy 2 different times. He put his hands on a fan. That's a fist. That's a closed fist that he threw. I don't care if he missed. He threw a punch at a fan. The guy should never have seen the field, and the guy shouldn't see the field for the rest of the year. He should be gone. I get it, Pittsburgh people. You're all scared for your playoffs, okay? But put yourself into everyone else's shoes and take off the Steeler glasses for a second, because you're protecting your own ass right now, because you go nowhere without DK Metcalf. Your team is done. Without DK, that's it. Your season's over, okay? And you know it. So that's why you guys are defending this. You're defending DK. I've seen it all over Twitter with Steeler people. Okay. What are you, a Raven fan? I mean, called a Raven fan like 4 times on Twitter today by people because I'm saying this. This should be easy. This is open and shut. Okay. You went into the stands and had an altercation with a fan, and you made contact with a fan. Push, shove, open hand, closed hand, doesn't matter. And I don't care what the fan said. What the fan said gets the fan ejected for life. He will never be allowed back at a game for the Lions or an NFL game ever again. Blacklist that guy. Kick him out. Okay? I have no problem with telling that fan, you will never go to a game ever again. But that's a different conversation than DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf should be done for the rest of the year for that altercation. And people trying to explain it away and trying to excuse the behavior, insane to me. Absolutely insane to me that during the game, this happened. And people in the chat, you're saying it happened off the field. What does that matter where it happened? Because fans don't exist on the field. Last time I checked, the fans are in the stands, which makes it worse. That hurts your argument. Doesn't help your argument. It hurts your argument because it happened off the field. If it happened on the field, we wouldn't be talking about this. If a fan was on the field causing a problem and DK Metcalf punched the fan, I don't care about that. That's the fan's fault. It's not what happened. DK is so sensitive and so unable to control himself that he's going into the stands to have an altercation during the game. This is what you're worried about? What some idiot in the first row is yelling at you? This is what this has your attention in the middle of a game that your team needs? Unbelievably selfish behavior. Unbelievably small-minded, dumb things. Yeah, of course he has an attorney. He's going to sue the holy hell out of him. I mean, DK Metcalf's going to get absolutely crushed. See you. Goodbye. He should not step foot on a field again in 25-26. Goodbye. And the league is up against it, okay? Because you're going to go and penalize one of the original franchises, the Rooney family. You know the league's got problems, right? This is a very difficult place. If this was a Jacksonville Jaguar, this guy would be sent to London. Like we wouldn't see or hear from the player again for 2 years. But it's a star wideout, and it's the Rooney family. That's going to be problematic. That's going to be problematic for the league, because what they should do and what I think they're going to do are two very, very different things here with the Steelers. And I've already seen it. Oh, everyone they're afraid of the Steelers. No one's afraid of the Steelers. No one's afraid of the Steelers. Stop saying this, okay? No one's afraid of them. No one's afraid of Aaron Rodgers. No one's afraid. Nobody in the NFL is afraid of the Steelers, okay? They're not, okay? The Steelers have gotten very lucky with certain wins, okay? They're playing well. They played a bad Lions team, okay? Lions are bad. They're a bad football, and they still should have won the game, or at least tied the game, okay? Because why? Because the referees were god-awful. Again, another day, another conversation, another issue with referees. I mean, the Steelers-Lions game, that was offensive pass interference. Are you serious? But this wasn't defensive pass interference on the left side of your screen. So just make sure I have this correctly. If Amon St. Brown puts his hands on somebody and touches them, slightly moves them, that is offensive pass interference in the biggest play of the game. That gets flagged. That ends the game. It wipes away a touchdown, and that now is justifiable. But Butte getting tackled on the 6-yard line by the Ravens with referees all around him. They were wide open. There was nobody down there but those two. You had two referees within 15 yards of that play, but the guy on the left, the shot on the left, that is not defensive pass interference. But what happened at the end of the game between the Lions and the Steelers, that is offensive pass interference. Just so we have that correct as to what's happening here with the NFL. And these referees consistently are being held to a standard that is so low. I just don't understand. I just, the fans don't understand, and nor do I understand what exactly is or is not offensive and defensive pass interference, because it sure feels like they're making it up as they go. It sure feels like, what's the narrative again? Because if the league doesn't take this seriously, the people who claim that the games are fixed are starting to get a bigger and bigger audience. Like, this is a real problem for the NFL. And they don't seem to care. For whatever reason, they don't seem to really care that people are starting to have large amounts of evidence to put forth and push this narrative that the NFL is not on the up and up, that the league will pick winners and losers, and the referees know this. I'm not saying it's true. I don't buy it, okay? I don't. I do think the referees know which team the league wants to win, just like the NBA. I think that's true. So I don't think there's anybody from New York making a phone call and telling the referees what to do. I think, like Tim Donaghy famously said, you don't have to have that happen. The referees already know. They know based on assignments. They know based upon who gets to work what game, who gets advanced in the playoffs. Like they already know. They can see it because some guys play ball, some guys don't. And if you do what the league likes, what the league wants, you get more opportunities, you get bigger games, you get bigger paydays, you get bigger exposure opportunities. So the league makes it known. So the referees know. So is Pittsburgh good for business? Yes. Is Baltimore good for business? Yes. Do you think it's better for the Ravens and the Steelers to be in the Patriots, to be in the playoffs over the Patriots? I would say yes. Because of the age of the teams, right? The window's closing. Again, the Chiefs are out. The Ravens are going to be out. Steelers win one more game, they're in. So Lamar is gone. Mahomes is gone. Burrow is gone. We get one household name quarterback in the AFC playoffs. One. Have you guys seen the AFC standings? It's unbelievable. Look at the standings. These standings are crazy. Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Chargers. Those are your top 5 seeds in the AFC. Like, what year is this? This looks like 1995. Not even that, 2005. It's like 2005 all over again. Like, you have Peyton Manning in the Broncos, Tom Brady in the Patriots, Mark Brunell in the Jaguars, Ben Roethlisberger in the Steelers. Like, that's what that looks like to me. Like, I'm in high school and college again, looking at the AFC. If you're somebody in the AFC, if you're somebody in the NFL, if you're somebody at a TV network with a playoff game, you are sick to your stomach. Have you seen what the Christmas Day games look like now? Netflix has paid so much money. We're talking about third string quarterbacks could be playing on Christmas in these games. You're paying all of this money to broadcast the playoffs and Christmas Day and all these big name teams you expect to be playing meaningful football games. They don't matter. The Broncos are playing the Chiefs. It doesn't matter. The Broncos can literally go, all right, we're going to play our second string guys. We're going to play anybody. Keep our guys healthy for the postseason run. Like, that's a problem. And the league knows it. So Lamar had one last shot. Lamar needed to win that game. And then Lamar got hurt. And I'm sorry that Lamar got hurt, but the idea that he's out here after the game calling it BS, that he gave himself up and that the defensive player for the Patriots hit him while he was down. He didn't slide. He dove. That's not giving yourself up, dude. That's trying to get as much yardage as possible. Feet first, you can't be touched. You go head first, you're a free game. Until you hit the ground, you can get hit. And you weren't on the ground when the knee to the back happened. You were falling to the ground. And unfortunately, you got kneed. Nobody tried to knee you, Lamar, but learn how to slide. It's not like you've been in the league for 2 minutes. You've been a running quarterback for quite a while. Like, this is all stuff that's really stunning to me, that like you're not going to be aware of how to protect yourself, and yet you're calling it BS. No, it's not BS. Learn how to protect yourself. So these are the problems for the NFL right now, that all these narratives are running around, and the NFL better get a hold of this referee problem. Like, they better get a hold of it fast, because I think Lions fans today have a really big gripe. Patriot fans, they won the game. More on that in a second. But like, you can't excuse that pass interference call. You just, on no planet, the broadcasters, both Al and Chris Chris and Mike were so beside themselves, going like, where's the flag? Like, where's the flag? There's no flag. How is there no flag? Like, how he's literally tackling Butte. Like, how in the world? That is the definition of pass interference. Like, if you look it up in the dictionary, that is the definition of pass interference. And the entire referee crew was like, are you going to call it? Or am I going to call it? Or are you going to call it? I don't know. What are we doing? And just so in case everyone needs to know, number one, my favorite thing from the weekend, clearly, it's Drake May. Drake May. This is awesome. 3 days ago, this reporter decides to write this article about Drake May. Drake May is talented, but his lack of clutch gene is becoming hard to ignore. his lack of clutch gene. This is a second-year quarterback, first year in the Josh McDaniels system, a guy who has 11 wins going into the game. And again, if you thought the Patriots lost to the Bills because of Drake May, you are just trying to get attention. And I went after media members in New England for saying this, saying that Drake May, because the ball was in his hands at the end of the Bills game, that because the offensive line couldn't protect him and he couldn't will his team to a victory, that Drake May was responsible for the loss. Not that the defense couldn't stop James Cook, not that the team was turning the football over. No, this was all on Drake May, which is Looney Tunes. Like, it's insane to even try to push that narrative. Just like it was insane to see somebody say that Drake May wasn't clutch. Well, the Patriots just came back from their largest fourth quarter deficit since the Falcon game in the Super Bowl. Remember 28-3? Well, they were down by 11 points in the fourth quarter, and the Patriots went down the field, scored a touchdown, 2-point play, and then went and scored the game-winning touchdown. The problem with all of that was going back to number 2 here on this conversation. Because if the 4th down and 2 play doesn't happen, if Drake May doesn't hit Stephon Diggs with an unbelievable pass, the Patriots most likely lose that game because the referees didn't make the call. And that's how a game turns. That's how you could say, well, you have to overcome even bad calls, right? I get all of that. But that's how a referee can put a team into a position where their likelihood of winning is dramatically shrunk. Now, the players can still overcome that. And that's sports. So the refs can't make the play, but the refs can just put a team in a position where they're more likely than not to fail, which is what the referees did to the Patriots last night. They put them in a position to fail more likely than not. And thankfully, Drake May and Stephon Diggs, unbelievable throw, great catch, great play, kept the drive alive. Patriots scored the game-winning touchdown, and they win. But that's why refereeing is so important. That's why that topic is such a big damn deal at the moment, because the refs can seriously impact the outcome of a game. More on Week 16 in the NFL. Let's continue with the Patriot game, because I thought there is a component to the Patriots that I don't think I saw, and that's the Stephon Diggs leadership situation. Now, I know people who hate Stephon Diggs are saying he has a pattern of doing this, where he goes to a new team, he makes everybody think that he's in and that he's a good guy, and then he torpedoes the franchise and he torpedoes everything that he does around him with the team. And he very well might be doing that with New England. But right now, I'm really impressed, because the one guy that was walking up and down the sidelines telling the Patriots to keep their heads up was Stephon Diggs. Primetime Stephon Diggs against the Bills, 10 catches, 146. Thursday Night Football against the Jets, 9 catches for 105. And last night, 9 catches for 138. When he was interviewed by NBC after the game, talking about Stephon Diggs, or talking about Mike Vrabel, Stephon Diggs said, I feel like Vrabes is doing something really special. We run sprints every Wednesday. Not just the sprints, it's the mentality. You go into games like this and you're tired. You got leaders like Mac Hollis, even Drake May as a young quarterback being poised. There's a lot of carryover. That stuff matters to me. I feel like being a leader just part of being me, and they let me be me. Now, is that new? I don't know. But for New England to have a veteran like Stephon Diggs, for Drake May to throw to, and for Mike Vrabel to go and talk when he needs to get to the team, and a message needs to be relayed from the head coach through a conduit. Didn't see Stephon Diggs coming. I didn't think he was going to be that type of guy for the Patriots. I really didn't. He's been unbelievable for the Patriots. To Saturday and the Bears. Holy crap. Now, as somebody who bet the Bears, I will readily admit, no business cashing the ticket. Absolutely no business cashing the ticket. But it was 100% a Windy City miracle for the Bears. Onside kick had worked 4 times in 47 chances before that onside kick worked for the Chicago Bears. And then not only did the onside kick work for the Bears, the throw, I mean, look, I'm not a Bear fan. I'm a Patriot fan. But if I was a Bear fan, one of the things I'd be looking to buy immediately is a picture of Caleb Williams putting his hands into his hand warmers after throwing an absolute dime into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. I mean, it was hysterical. He throws this ball, he puts his hands in the hand warmers, and he's just like watching it like all of us. He became a fan. He's like, oh, there goes the ball. Huh. Oh, we caught it. Oh, we won. Like, that was a moment. That was such a moment. What a game. That and Drake May's no-look homage to LeBron James on the touchdown when he was rolling out and he threw the ball, and before he was even caught by Hunter Henry, Drake May is going the other way. If you haven't seen that clip yet, go find that clip because that's incredible. Drake May and Caleb Williams are both friends. If we see a Drake May and Caleb Williams Super Bowl, maybe even this year, I'm all in. Like, give me Drake May, give me more Caleb Williams, give me the young gun quarterbacks in the NFL. Unbelievable games. One at home, one on the road. Both teams had to have it. Both teams needed it. Huge win for the Bears. Again, starting quarterback gets hurt. Malik Willis comes in, much like last night with Lamar. Malik Willis played great. He played tremendously well in relief. And I think it was pretty cool to see that you saw a Bears team backs against the wall. I thought, and I was tweeting it, but like the Packers were on a different level. Like the Packers dominated that game. The Bears had no business winning that game. But sometimes it's just your year. Sometimes you have everything going right and you get the breaks and the ball bounces your way and you have to ride that hot streak as far as you can ride it. And that's what the Bears are going to have to do. They're going to have to just go ahead and ride this because that was really cool. That was really, really cool. The Jaguars go into Denver and punk the Broncos. Now, I bet the Jags. Okay. So I believed that Denver, much like New England last week, Denver was due. I also think we need to pay attention to what's being built and what's going on with Liam Cohen and this team. Because during the week, you heard comments from Sean Payton, and I don't think Sean Payton really meant it as a slight, but I'm glad that the Jags took it as such, saying a smaller market, talking about Jacksonville, but you see a really good team. Liam Cohen came back and said a small market team like us can come into Mile High and get it done. And he apologized for saying that, but he was like, I didn't like those comments during the week, which is a really weird comment from Sean Payton because, look, I like Sean Payton a lot as a head coach. I like the Broncos a lot. How could you not? They're rolling right now. But the one weird thing about that comment is that the NFL is a socialist league. You can be in New Orleans, you can be in Buffalo, and you can win the Super Bowl. The revenue sharing and the salary cap creates a mechanism for parity. So I don't care where Jacksonville is. Jacksonville could be on Guam. Like they could be playing football in the smallest country in the world. And yet, if you're in the NFL, you can field a team that can win against anybody on any given Sunday. So the market in which the Jaguars live in makes no sense to bring up because it's not about the market. It's about the team. It's about the actual roster that's been built. And Trevor Lawrence is playing like the second coming of John Elway. The defense is arguably the best defense in the AFC. The Texans are in the conversation. The Broncos are in the conversation. But we haven't talked nearly enough about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the best run defense in the NFL. If the Buffalo Bills have to play Jacksonville, they're done. If the Bills play Jacksonville in the playoffs, the Bills are losing that game. And we'll see what the bracket looks like. We got a lot of movement still to come out with the AFC. But if that's a matchup that happens, Buffalo's done because they've got to run the football. Without James Cook, their offense is cooked, literally. So like they have to run the ball, and you're not running the ball on the Jags. This offense is really good. I mean, I liked Jacoby Myers a lot when he was a Patriot. I didn't like him so much as a Raider, but him with the Jaguars is perfect. He's exactly what they needed. He has been a big play weapon for this offense that, for whatever reason, has unlocked what these guys are capable of doing. And they've been unbelievable. They're 6-1 since acquiring Jakobi Meyers. Huge run. Look at the bracket. This bracket is so wild. Right now, it would be Patriots, Texans. I hate that. As a Patriot fan, I hate that. Jacksonville would play the Buffalo Bills. This is the matchup that if the Patriots don't like that matchup, the Bills don't like that matchup. Texan would win that game, and the Jags would win that game. They would advance to the next round. If that's the matchup that we see, Buffalo and New England will have a one-and-done playoff run. Now, the Patriots can still be the 1 seed. That's possible. We'll see how the next 2 weeks play out. But the Pats are 1 win away or 1 Bills loss away from clinching the AFC, and the Patriots will go to the Jets, where the Jets are done. The Jets have quit, like straight up quit. Brady Cook is so bad. He's so bad. Did the Eagles run the score up on the Commanders? Yes. Can we all just say this? Yes, that they did. Going for 2 in that moment, forcing that game to go over. I don't know why no one's talking about that. That game went over. When the Eagles went for 2, that game went over. They wanted to be up by 19 points, more than 18 points. Huh? Because the analytics. What? I don't understand. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, touchdown, 2-point conversion, field goal is 19. So you wanted to make sure you're up by 19, not by 18? What are we doing? Like, that's Nick Sirianni's explanation as to why they did that? Not buying it. Sorry. Do I think they were running it up? Yes. Do I really want to watch Week 18 Commanders against the Eagles? Yes. If I'm the Eagles, I'd be very careful as to who I play in that game. The Commanders are mad, and they're going to be looking for blood in that game. And Dan Quinn, I'm not saying he's going to order a code red, but don't put it past him. Don't put it past him for him to go ahead and order a code red on the Eagles. That's going to be wild to see what happens in that game. The Bills continue to struggle on the road. They barely beat Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders and that offense had chances to beat Buffalo. They couldn't get it done, but they had the football at the end of the game in the fourth quarter with a chance to beat the Buffalo Bills, and they couldn't get it done. But the Bills were very lucky to hang on and win that game. Bills on the road, which most likely they're going to be on the road in the playoffs. And right now it's at Jacksonville. I wouldn't be buying Bills futures. I wouldn't be expecting the Bills to be hanging around long in the playoffs. Chargers blow out the Cowboys on the road. The Cowboys season is officially over. The win on Saturday also ended it, but a lot of question marks for Dallas into the offseason. Chargers look good. Chargers offense looked good. Now, everyone looks good against the Cowboys defense, but Chargers with 37 points, good win. Did the Titans blow the first pick in the draft? Sure looks that way. They beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost to the Titans. How do you lose to the Titans? Well, how? The Titans are playing hard. Titans don't need the first pick. That's the thing going into the game. I was like, I was telling everybody, you should bet the Titans because Gardner Minshew getting hurt, I didn't see that happening. But like the idea that the Titans need to lose to get a draft pick is not, they already got their quarterback. Like, is there that big a difference between like having the 4th pick and the 5th pick? I mean, I guess, but if you're a top 5, picking team, you're going to get pretty much who you want. You're going to get a really talented football player unless you want a quarterback. And you're fighting over that one guy, right? You want that one position. So, that one position is now, you got it taken care of. I mean, Cam Ward has played really well this year. So you got your quarterback. Now you need other things. You need wide receivers and defensive linemen and offensive tackles and everything else. If you have the 4th pick in the draft, you can get all that. 5th pick in the draft, you can get all that. So it didn't stun me at all that the Titans went out there and played hard. And that was a Super Bowl type performance by the Titans. The Bengals crushed the Dolphins. They're done. The question, Quinn Ewers, they're playing Quinn Ewers because Tua's done. That didn't look good. That didn't work. And Joe Burrow is still Joe Burrow. Bengals crushed the Dolphins. The Saints win their 3rd game in a row. They beat up on the Jets, who I said who have quit, and they have. Patriots play the Jets to clinch the division. And, well, Jets are just a dumpster fire of a football team. And offensively, if they play Brady Cook against the Patriots, it's just like a thank you. Brady Cook's bad. There's some really bad players. Right now, there's some bad quarterbacks playing football in the NFL right now, and Brady Cook is one of them. Jackson Dart, I saw a tweet that said that if you took the snap and threw the ball into the ground directly, that there would have been a higher QBR than what Jackson Dart had in the game against the Vikings. And that's even with the injury to McCarthy with his hands. That was as bad of a football game as we've seen so far this season. It was awful. But the Giants kept the charade going. Raiders and the Giants play this weekend in the toilet bowl of toilet bowls, both teams with 2 wins on the year. Speaking of the Raiders, they scored 21 points somehow. How did the Texans defense give up 21 points to the Raiders? How is that possible? Like, what the hell? They almost lost. Raiders almost won the game, which every Raider fan was like, lose, lose, lose. Like, what are we doing? We played hard, but lose. Come on now. We can't win this game. They almost won the game. 23-21. Raiders win. Raiders cover. And for the 3rd time this year, a team in back-to-back weeks as double-digit dogs in the second game, they cover. Okay? Just take a look at that stat going forward. If you see it the rest of the way, a double-digit dog in the second week of being a double-digit dog, 3-0 against the spread for that team on the second leg this year. Why? Because they pay their players too. There's pride there. The Falcons won at Arizona. Nobody cares about that disgusting game, but congrats to Atlanta. And then finally, the Panthers hold on to beat the Bucs. They have a 1-game lead in the NFC South. So Tampa goes to Miami this week. We should be all over the Bucs. All over the Bucs. The Panthers are at home and they play Seattle. We should be all over Seattle. All over Seattle. Mike McDonald on the Eastern time zone on the East Coast. I mean, the Seahawks are an unbelievably successful team East, and they need it. They need the game because the 49ers are going to win tonight, most likely. We'll talk about that during bonus time. They're going to win that game tonight. And then you have a Rams team that is banged up still with the injury to Adams, needing to win to keep pace, trying to win the division and trying to get their best wildcard spot. So this is a Seattle team going east to the Panthers. The Panthers win, they win the division. Seattle's a better football team, a much better football team. Panthers are better at home than they are on the road, but this is setting up for an incredible Week 18. The playoffs will begin a week early. The Panthers at the Bucs. The winner gets the division. The loser is done. Out. Not making the postseason. That's going to be awesome. Like 100% sign me up for a Week 18 playoff game that matters. And as somebody who has a pretty sizable position on the Bucs to win the division, I will 100% be hedging on that. I have a plus 110 ticket, so I don't have much to hedge, but I will make sure that I will limit my losses if the Panthers do go into Tampa and beat the Bucs. Neither one of these teams will do anything in the postseason. Like, no matter who wins this game in Week 18, if we do get what I think is going to happen in Week 18, it won't matter. Both those teams are going to get trounced by whoever they play in the playoffs. They're too banged up. Their defenses give up too many big plays. The Panthers, I mean, their offense is good at times, but it's very inconsistent. Their offensive line's not that good. Their defensive line can be good at times, but it really depends on who they're playing. Panthers at home, different team, but they will have a home playoff game. If the Panthers win, they'll have a home playoff game. Bucs win, they'll have a home playoff game. I mean, both those two teams at home are much better than on the road. So the Bucs hosting Week 18 against the Panthers is a huge break. And we'll see. Baker Mayfield is so hurt. Like, his shoulder is clearly compromised. His knee is clearly compromised, but he's fighting through it. And unfortunately, through the game-ending interception, when the Bucs had the football, they were in field goal range almost, like basically there, and then a miscommunication between Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. Game-ending interception. Panthers win 23-20, and we head on to Week 17 with the Seahawks going to Carolina. and the Dolphins hosting the Bucs. And as I said, the Dolphins have quit. So I would bet Seattle. I would bet Tampa right now before those numbers move. I do think both those teams win pretty easily. They'll win coming up this weekend. If you're watching the show on replay on Sports Grid TV, thank you for being here. If you're live, please do not move. We got more for you, including picks for tonight's Monday Night Football game. Tuesday, tomorrow, we'll do my top 5 teams of the NFL and talk more about the college football playoffs coming up for the next in the quarterfinal round. Our first look at those games coming up, but that's tomorrow. Right now, bonus time starts right now. One quick non-football story before we do just the picks. Ed Cooley is a guy who I've liked a long time. Ed Cooley did something over the weekend that was really stupid. He was pissed off about the offense that got run at the end of the game. He threw a water bottle that was somewhat full, whipped it into the crowd, and he hit a kid. According to the family, the kid had to go to the hospital, and the kid has injuries from being hit in the face with the water bottle. Now, before you say, come on, that's not that big of a... Think about a water bottle and think about the end of the water bottle and think about a little kid's face. And think about a grown man throwing a water bottle that was probably half full, they said. And the kid is only like 3 rows away. The kid's not that far away from Ed Cooley. He was meaning to throw it high, and he threw it low, and it came out like a shot, and it went straight into the kid's face. He's been suspended 1 game for doing this, but he's going to be facing a massive lawsuit. The family's already hired a pretty big time attorney to sue Ed Cooley. Again, much like DK Metcalf. What the hell are you guys doing? I don't care if you're throwing it into the triple deck. Okay. We talk about fans. Fans should not be throwing things into the stands. Coaches sure as shit shouldn't be throwing anything into a stand. I don't care how pissed off you are. I don't care how mad your team is making you. You don't throw things into a crowd of people. And you hit a kid. You hit a little kid in the face. Awful story. Oh, and I like Ed Cooley a lot. I like Ed Cooley. I think he's a really good coach and a good leader, except in that moment, because that is about as ugly as a moment for a coach as you could possibly have. Your job is to mold young men, and you just hurt one. You hurt a kid that went there to support you. Oh my. Yeah. Really, 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 really bad stuff. Good weekend for attorneys. It's a good point. It has been a good weekend for attorneys. Let's make some plays. All right, time for Just the Picks. Brought to you by the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. You guys can go there, prop bet to bettingpros.com/props, or download the Betting Pros app to check out the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet for tonight's Monday Night Football game between the 49ers and the Colts. By the way, it kicks like right now. I didn't put it on the list. I didn't know how long we'd go here. But if you are looking for a play, I took Utah State against Washington State in the Idaho Bowl that kicks off right now. That number is still a pick. I took a pick. I took Utah State by a pick last night. So if you want action right now, that's the side I'm on. I'm on Utah State tonight. So you can either fade or follow that. But I like Utah State right now in the Idaho Bowl, kicking off against Washington State right now. So why Bronco Mendenhall? And the head coach for Washington State just left, went to Iowa State. So a lot of turmoil in that Washington State football program. Bronco Mendenhall going back. He was the longtime BYU coach. Now he's the coach of Utah State. Going to have some friends in the building up there. So I'm going with Utah State. For tonight, I'm going to play a little angle here, okay? Here's a skill shot. I'm not recommending, you can fade or follow this. I'm not recommending this, okay? But here's what I did. The Colts, they were 5.5 last night. Oh, I just closed that window. Hold on. Let me pull that back up again. What's the actual, have we gone back to 6 here for the game tonight? No, we're down. Wow. We're down to 4.5. Interesting. Okay. So the pro side is the Colts. So I took the Colts +6, thinking the Indianapolis very well may cover this game. But I think the 49ers are going to win the game. But I think the 49ers win the game by 3 or 4 points. I don't think they win the game by 6 points. So Colts +6 at -125. And then as I try to skill shot it, I'm taking the 49ers money line parlayed with the Pistons. Now, the Pistons play the last game of the night in the NBA on the road tonight. Okay. They're on the West Coast in Portland playing the Trailblazers. They are about 6.5 favorites up against the Trailblazers. Portland's won 3 games in a row. They're playing relatively well. Pistons have been extremely successful on the road this year. Just overall one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. If we get the Niners right on the money line, we'll have a hedge opportunity. Okay. Not a big one, but if it ever looks like the Pistons are going to lose, I played it out. So there's going to be like the NFL game will be over somewhere in the neighborhood of like 11 o'clock, right? Eastern time, somewhere in that range. That's about halftime of the NBA game. So we'll know about the outcome, the first leg of this, whether it hits or not. And if it hits, hopefully we get the Colts +6 as well. So then we know we've got the Colts number, and then we're going to come in with this number, and then we go with the Pistons here, money line, or take the Trailblazers at some point during the game as a hedge, plus whatever, 10 points. Maybe you get a big number, right? And try to hit all 3, right? So a little bit of a skill shot, a little bit of a heat check for me. I had a huge day yesterday. I went 9-2 on my bets yesterday. So it's a little bit of a tester for me, trying to see if I can get in on this, but that's the plays for me. Niners, and it's only -103, by the way. That's what I got the odds on. Only -103 for Niners, Pistons, combined with the Colts +6. San Fran by 3. Let's have them win the game by a field goal coming up here for tonight. News of the industry is an interesting one for me because I don't really understand what's going on. All right, news of the industry. This came out yesterday, and I can't figure out why these regional sports networks can't make any money, because they can't make any money. So FanDuel famously came in and took over the regional sports networks for like 30 teams across the country. And so it's not in every market, but you may have the FanDuel Sports Network, right? There's different shows and podcasts that are on there, but according to Yahoo Sports and sports business journalist Tom Friend, DAZN is trying to buy the FanDuel Sports Network. If FanDuel Sports Network cannot get a deal done by the end of the NBA or NHL seasons, or if Main Street Sports Group, they're the parent company of the FanDuel Sports Network, they're going to shut it down. If they shut it down, the broadcast rights for 30 franchises in the NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball, the broadcast rights would revert back to the teams. And then the teams would then be negotiating with ESPN or another broadcast partner to air their games. Now, certain networks have been built by the franchises, like, yes, the Yankees Entertainment Sports Network, right? Like NESN, the New England Sports Network. You've seen this MASN, the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, right? The teams have been on the forefront on the East Coast of doing this, but a lot of teams in the Midwest, in the South, and in the Pacific Northwest don't have this. The broadcast rights are owned by the FanDuel Sports Network. And they could very well be looking at a situation where they have to go and build a mechanism to have their games be shown. Now, that would be a remarkable thing if 30 different franchises had to go and do this. But I bring this up because I cannot figure out why nobody can make money on a regional sports network. Why can't anybody make any money? This is the home of the game. This is the home of the fan. Like, have we gotten so lost from a sales perspective that we don't know how to build content that is friendly to an advertiser and can attract an audience? Like, I'm 48 years old. Okay. I feel like I'm not a dinosaur, but I feel like I'm quickly becoming a dinosaur because the younger audiences, the 16 to 24-year-olds, the kids that are in my class at UNLV, they're not watching anything but their phone. That's where they're getting all of their content, all their information. And if it's not boiled down to a bite-sized clip, a easily digestible highlight or some type of TikTok trend, they're not paying attention to it. And as somebody who's been in sports for a very long time, it is remarkable that nobody can make any money on the one thing that I thought would always make money. The game itself. The shoulder programming. Okay, you can tell me that the pre and post game shows aren't making any money. You can tell me that there's things happening around, who's watching a regional sports network on a Thursday night at midnight. Okay, I'll give you all of that. I will. But no one's able to make any money off the game itself. If you have the game, shouldn't you be able to make money? Even if your team sucks, shouldn't you be able to make money? Like, where are the creative people who are able to come up with content ideas that make people watch and pay attention? Good content still sells. It still sells. If you create good content, it still gets people's attention. People still want to watch. People still want to go and maybe it's on demand. Maybe it's not live, but they're still going to watch it. People still watch baseball games. They still watch football games. They still watch hockey games. They still watch basketball games. But these regional networks cannot make any money. And every couple of years, we're having this conversation going, well, if they don't sell, they're going belly up. And if they go belly up, then all of these franchises will have to go and find new broadcast partners. And some of them don't know what they're doing. Some of them have no idea the Golden Knights here, their games are no longer easily found. Like, I've got like every different platform you could dream of except cable. And because I don't have cable or rabbit ears, I can't watch the Golden Knights. I haven't seen a Golden Knight game off of ESPN. I haven't seen Dave Gocher, who's a friend of mine, who's the voice of the team on TV. I haven't seen a Dave Gocher called game in like, I don't know how long, probably 2 years. Now, I'm not going to go and pay the $30 a month to watch the Golden Knights because you can do that. Don't need to do that. I like the Golden Knights. I don't like them that much. And so that's what happens in New England. You can pay to have NESN Plus, which is their app, which is $30 a month. I would probably do that to watch the Bruins, but I'm not doing that now. I'm not paying now. Folks are furious about subscriptions. Okay. So the subscription model that really was copied from cable, because we all were paying $4 a month for channels we never watched. So you just do this big, huge like ball, and we pay one fee for channels we never watch. Now we want to pay that one fee for channels we do want to watch. And so now that one subscriber that was paying $4 now has to pay 15 or 20 because all those other channels are not there to subsidize. And so we're in this very unique content space where YouTube, it's taken them 25 years to do it, but YouTube has really changed everything, because the idea of watching free content for these kids, easy, on demand, and simple, this is how they spend their time. They don't spend their time watching things they have to pay for. And that is why these leagues are having to, every couple of years, worry about their home, their broadcast home, going under. Because it could happen. It's very, very close that it could very well happen. I don't know. I'm very curious to see if they can sell to DAZN. Why would DAZN want it? That would be my question. Why would DAZN want it? Why would they want to buy that? Because no one else has made any money on it. So why are they going to make any money on it? Maybe they will, but good luck. It doesn't feel like you're going to. Yeah, I can see you guys already. Bring back cable. That was Dave's thing, right? Dave was always like, give me cable. I don't need cable. I hate cable, but there's definitely some positives to cable. There's definitely some things where you can sit there and go, it was a lot simpler when we had cable. It worked. It was there. I could change the channels. Didn't have to wait. Now I got a new TV, so my TV moves pretty quickly between different apps. So I'm thankful for that. But it's still not the same as just going click, 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 or there's no like previous channel, right? So if I'm watching tonight's game on Thursday night, right? sorry, tonight's Monday night. So tonight is ESPN, right? So I'm watching ESPN on Yahoo Sports, excuse me, on YouTube TV. So I'm watching the game. If I want to flip over to Peacock to watch an NBA game, or I want to go and watch, I don't know, anything, a show or something, at halftime, there's no like going back and forth until we figure that out. We got to figure out the speed of that. Like the processing's got to go way, way up, coming up for that. But, we'll see as technology. I mean, I saw a video over the weekend where there were robots who were dancing on stage in China. So if we have dancing robots, why can't I have a TV that can process things quicker to have me be able to go back and forth between apps like that? Why can't I have that? So anyways, favorite thing about today for me has been, today is the 5th day of what has been an unbelievable 5-day stretch. Thursday, great game. Seahawks and the Rams was awesome. That game was so much fun. Friday, Alabama and Oklahoma. That game rocked. Saturday, Bears, Packers. One of the best games, one of the best fourth quarters you will ever see. Sunday, so many good games. Huge wins. The Patriots in primetime. Unbelievable comeback. Patriots win. Drake May's back in the MVP conversation. In fact, if Drake May wins the AFC East and the Rams do not win the West, tell me, you gotta tell me. Look at the receiving core Drake May is playing with. Drake May is the MVP. Sorry, Matthew. I know it's a legacy award. I know they want to give it to you because you never won it. But Drake May is the MVP. Like, I'm sorry. He's the MVP. Like, I don't care. Everyone's listing the quarterbacks the Patriots have beaten. I don't give a fuck. Okay? You can do all of that. It means nothing to any of us who are Patriot fans. We don't care who the Patriots played, who the Patriots beat. It means zip. Nothing. You can make every excuse. The Patriots can get blanked 40-0 in the playoffs, and no one's going to care. Do you understand? The Patriots won 8 games in the last 2 years. 8. They have 12 wins this year. Okay? No one cares about who or what quarterback or what break the Patriots got. And then we go to tonight. We got Phillip Rivers on TV again. Got Phillip Rivers in primetime, his first home game in Indy against a 49er team that just plays with their food too much. Like, they don't kill anybody. They're always in these games tight, and they need this game. I have a plus 160 bet on the Niners to win the West. I need this game. So let's see what happens. It's been a really fun 5 days, and it gets capped off tonight. Favorite thing about today, more football. More football. And I'm going to go watch football right now with the Idaho Bowl going on right now. Oh, we got to 3,000. Whoever did that, we finally got there. Hey, look at that. That's tremendous. We finally got there. We were at like 299 forever. We finally got there. Mission accomplished. That's exciting. Where's the, I don't know. What's the bet, Addison? Are you betting it? Phillip Rivers rushing attempt? Yes? Go ahead. Go ahead. But we get Rivers on TV tonight. I'm excited to watch. I am. I'm in. Let's go. Phillip Rivers. Let's go. +6 money line Niners. Favorite thing about today. Let's have some fun. Back tomorrow to recap it all, guys. Thanks for being here. Happy 3,000. That's tremendous. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for getting us over the hump there, subscriber wise. Wednesday will be the giveaway. 2 more days away from that. Tomorrow, full recap of tonight and a look at the college football playoffs. And then Wednesday, Adam Bjorn for a Bet Chris Arizona Wednesday for the final show, which I think is going to be the final show of 2025. We're pretty confident that that's going to happen, that we'll wrap up the 2025 year on Wednesday, Christmas Eve. Amazing that Christmas is here. Talk to you tomorrow for a Tuesday's BBB.